Hey guys, what's up? It's Todd Corsetti. I've been asked several times to make a video of how I source the logs for my log furniture. As you know, I've used pine, but I also use a lot of juniper. It's readily available. Got a lot of it in my backyard. It's all over the Mountain West. It's a strong wood, fibrous, makes a decent self bow. It's just gorgeous, and I'll show you how to prepare it. It also, a short video gives me a chance to wear my new favorite shirt from Grumpy GI Gear. So let's go find some logs and I'll run you through this real quick. Trickiest part on juniper is finding the straight log, so that's what you're looking for mainly. Once you find one, like this behind me, looks decent, let's get after it. Another good option is if you can find an old dead one like this, or sometimes there's a burn. We had a burn a decade ago, so maybe I'll go grab some of those logs. The green ones I usually let dry for about a year before I use them, or you can find some old dead ones, and there's plenty of those, or old burnt trees. Make some nice looking logs. So let's snab this one. Looks like nothing now, but see what we can do with it. So there's a wildfire here. Okay, maybe more like 20 years ago. The wood's still standing, some of it. Let's see if we can go find a straight piece. So I found a little straight piece I'm going to grab for an example. So let's go cut that down. Okay, I got the old burn log. This is an example. Sand it down a little bit, get to the light colored wood, and then we'll go from there. The other piece, still got all the bark and stuff on it, so just got to pull the loose stuff off. This bigger piece that we cut off the live tree, I'm going to pull the bark off of it, but like I mentioned, it needs to dry for maybe a year, maybe get away with 6 months, but we live in a dry climate, so it dries pretty quick. It's difficult to work when it's green. I don't kiln fire it or anything special, just keep it out of the weather and let it sit. Here you can already start seeing, you can see that. Start seeing the yellows, browns, whites, reds, purple. And it's just gorgeous wood. Knock the little nubs off. Get a lot of that loose bark off. I'm going to get the saw, cut a couple of bigger limbs, cut this stump off. Bonus, goats like the bark. I'm going to take my grinder, and I have a 36 grit on the grinder, so a couple of these stumps I want to flatten out before I start sanding, so I'm just going to knock those off. Do the same thing with this older log. Knock the stumps off. Okay, I got cleaned up. I'm going to cut this chunk off at the end, and a little bit of this because I just need a short log. The fire burn log that's grayed out. You could keep some of the gray, but I got a orbital sander with some 60 grit. I'm going to take some of the gray off. We'll make a comparison and then we'll work on the log we had to strip the bark off. Doesn't take very long to get that gray wood off. Leave a little bit on for coloration. We'll see how it looks. So now, some like finer grit, 220 for this log, the log that we got from the old burn. When I peeled a lot of that loose bark off, if you want to accelerate it, you can use some like 60 grit on an orbital sander, just knocking the loose stuff off, but you got to finish with like a finer 220, which I'm going to do now, just to smooth it out. I don't know how well you can see that, but let's see. Just gorgeous. So if you want to get more aggressive, like with some 60 grit for a while, get more of that white out, or you can leave a lot of that inner bark in on it and get some of those purples, browns, yellows. But yeah, you end up with a little bit of that whitish yellow color. Gorgeous stuff. All right, that's about it. Make sure that it's smooth, everything's knocked off. So what we'll do next is put a coat of urethane, let it dry overnight. Then you'll come back with a pair of leather gloves, knock off any of the little loose fibers that are still sticking out when the thing's hard, and then put one more coat of urethane on it. You're ready to go. By the way, all the tools I use to make the log furniture, the tenon and mortise, etc., are always down below. Links if you're so inclined. So on the burn log, we'll do one end gray, a little bit in the middle. I use this IPS witch pine for the pine tops of the benches, tables, stools. So that's what I use on the pine. The juniper doesn't need any stain, just a clear coat. We'll put a little bit in the middle so you can see the difference, and then the bottom we'll just do the urethane, see how that looks. There you go. A little bit of that stain in the middle, and now we'll do some urethane. Let that dry for a minute. Check. I think I mentioned before, any kind of polyurethane, urethane. I like satin, not as shiny, looks nice, so satin's what I use. Beautiful. So you can see kind of the fuzzies on there. So we'll let that dry for a day or two, and then we just simply give them leather gloves, knock off the little fibers once that polyurethane's hard, and then we'll put another coat on and ready to go. Good stuff on the burn log. So this was the part that we didn't stain. We put just the clear on, the urethane. I like it, even with a little bit of that gray in there. It gives it some rustic color. This was the part we stained. You really can't tell much of a difference. It slightly looked darker. And then the gray, not my favorite. I'd take the gray off, but option to leave more of that on if you want a little bit of that color. We're back a few days later. The urethane is dry on both the logs. We're going to just pull off some of the loose fibers and rub them down with some leather gloves just to break anything off. The urethane anchors this stuff. So we'll do that, and then we will put one last coat of urethane on it, let it dry for a day. It should be ready. See some of the loose fibers? We're just going to break some of that stuff off. You can pull them off if you need to. Now here in some sun, you can just see the beauty of that wood. This is the old log from the old burn tree. couple of the support beams on a log table, coffee table, that I use some old wood burns. And you can see it's gorgeous, blends right in, looks really nice. So if you can salvage some old burn wood, even better. They are ready for a second coat of polyurethane. So we'll slather that on with a little brush and then let it sit another day, and I'll show you the final results tomorrow. Any loose bark on this one, we'll again take it off, but that's about it. And we're back. It's the day after putting the second coat of polyurethane on. Both logs are ready to go. They look great. The one dead tree where we got they still had the bark on it, but we pulled all the loose bark off and treated it. It looks fantastic. That's just beautiful wood. You can see all the colors in that bark. Just makes for absolutely gorgeous log furniture or whatever else you can think to create with it. There may be a few bark whiskers still poking out. Just get the leather gloves and break those off, but it should be minimal. And that tree was dead for a while, so it should be ready to use for log furniture immediately. The old burn log that we got also looks great. Easier to prep, to use, and it's certainly dry enough to use right now. You may like it a little darker. You could always stain it and then put the polyurethane on to get a little bit darker, but both look great. It's great to use local materials, local wood, so I'm sure there's wood available in your neighborhood. Just got to figure out how to use it, work with it. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Now get out there and create something. Thanks.
Don't be poor. So goes the legend. Our rights to defend. No need to despair. Breathe deep, the freest of the legend. Stay free, follow the light. Your guide in the dark of night.